you still need me? Will you still feed me when I'm 64? My friends, Eric Andres, your guitar sage here. Today, I'm going to teach you When I'm 64 by the Beatles. This is a super fun tune, one of my favorites. I'm going to teach you the chords, the strumming rhythm, the whole 9 yards. It's really not difficult, I can promise you. A lot of it is very easy. There's only really about 2 main parts and a little intro / outro. We'll talk about that. I promise you, I got you on this. I'm gonna help you get through it. It's gonna be super fun. All right. And it's a great one to play solo guitar. I also have a chart for you for this. I have it both in standard chord notation and in National Number System. Both of those are available to you for free, no sign up or anything else. Click that first link below. On that same page, you're going to see access to a course that I'm also giving to you for free. We'll help you with strumming rhythms, the 9 essential chords like that we cover in all these tunes and all the rest. So click that first link. If you need help, it's there for you, okay? Otherwise, here we go. This song is in common time. It's in 4/4. And we're playing the song like it's in the key of C, but you notice that I have my capo right here on my 1st fret, and I denoted that on the chart as well. So really we're in the key of C sharp, but you're not thinking that way, and the chart doesn't say C sharp, F sharp, that sort of thing. It just says C. Just know capo 1, and you're gonna play what feels like a C and a G and an F and all that good stuff, okay? Good. So I'm going to break this down. As I'm looking at it, I'm literally looking at this chart right now. The verses are all the same. So if I teach you one verse, I'm teaching you all the verses. They're literally all the same. There's also a bridge section in it. And if I teach you one bridge, I've taught you both the bridges. And the only exception, and really the intro or the outro of the tune is the same as the intro. So once I show you the intro, you're going to know the outro. And if you have this chart, it's going to make it super easy. So I'm going to teach you 3 parts. And this is how I think about tunes. It's going to help you a ton too, to be able to just break it up so it's not like some overwhelming tune. We have 3 little parts to learn, okay? So here we go. So the beginning of this starts off C, F, and G. So it's like this. And there is this walking bass line that I'm going to show you, okay? So it's like this. It's just like a classic country western style, right? Where we're bouncing back and forth between the 1 and the 5 of the chord. You don't have to know what that means, just trust me on that. But if we're playing this C chord here, what I'm doing is I'm keeping the chord, but I'm moving the bass line back and forth between the C and the G. Okay, so it's like this. And the strumming rhythm is a 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1. That's how we're counting it, right? So it's like 1, I'm hitting the bass note, and then hitting the rest of the chord. 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1. So I want you to get used to that before you do anything. 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1. Okay? Because that vibe is going to sound best on that C chord. We can kind of do that for some of the other chords, but once the singing starts, that main motif, musical idea, it continues, but it's going to be overpowered by the voice. So at least do it in the very beginning there. You don't have to necessarily do it for the rest of the song, okay? So in the beginning here, we have, and again, look at the chart. We have C, a measure of C, measure of C, a split measure of F, G, and then 1 whole measure of C. What we mean by split measure is 2 chords share the same measure, so we have 2 and 2 instead of 4 beats. So we have 1 measure, 1 measure, 1 measure, 2 measures, and then split measure, F, G, and then 1 measure of C, okay? Much easier if you're looking at the chart. And then 2 more measures of C. So it might sound something like this. Okay, that's the intro. It also happens to be the outro of the tune. Now, right before we get to the verse, we're going to thump away here on the C a little bit. When I get older, I'm losing my head many years from now. Okay, now here we've got 3 measures of C, 1 measure of G7, And then we're kind of thumping away on this. Da, 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 da. If you want to play that little bass line there, it's a G, A sharp, B, C, and then we're on our C chord there, so it works out perfectly, right? Okay, that's our C chord there. For the second part of the verse, we have, let's see. Now notice I'm just going back and forth with this. You don't have to. You could go. You don't have to walk the bass line if you don't want to. It makes it sound a little bit better though. So then we go to that F chord. Now I know what you're saying to yourself. You're saying, Eric, F that F chord, I can't play it. Listen, friends, you can play it. I have a video for it. Just search effing F chord, that's E-F-F-I-N-G, and I'll show you how to play this chord. There are 0 people in the world who can play the F chord that once could not. And guess what? You can't, which means you will, right? Just like everybody else who couldn't do it at one point, you will too. It's just a matter of you just got to get your mind wrapped around it. And notice I'm playing kind of like a little cheater F here. I could play the full one. It doesn't make much of a difference in sound, and it's much more fun to play, so I teach you that in that video. But check that out if you have problems with the F chord. Okay, now this is the only part that's a little bit challenging. The only part that's a little bit challenging, okay? Because we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 chords in a row, 2 beats apiece, and we're kind of bringing in some new cool chords here, okay? So, but don't freak out, okay? Okay, here we go. So the will you still need me? Will you still feed me? Okay. When I'm 64. And it goes like this. We have F, F sharp diminished. Okay. Now, we won't go into the details of all this because I want to get this quickly to you, and I cover this stuff in more detail. But essentially, the F diminished chord, you could also just walk up. Will you still need me? Will you still feed me? And so you're just walking up the bass line to the A, or you could just walk those 3 if they're uncomfortable. Will you still need me? Will you still feed me when I'm 64? Doesn't sound too bad even if you're doing that, okay? That's just walking up the bass lines. Otherwise, we have an F, F sharp diminished, C/G. Okay, this is what's called an inversion, which means we take the bass line, the bass note of the chord, and we put a different note of the chord into the bass. And if it's a C chord, which is a C-E-G, those are the 3 notes that make up that chord, we put some other note in the bass other than the C. It could be an E, it could be a G. In this case, it's a G. So we have a C chord /G, so I'm going to play that G in the bass. That cool sounding chord there. So we have, ooh, nice, right? And then an A7, part of the 9 essential chords in the free course that I'm giving you. Again, if you have any issues with any of the stuff, that course is going to help you a lot. I assume you know it already though, okay? If you don't, that's why I'm helping you with the course. So, will you still need me? Will you still feed me? Then we have a D9, again, thinking as if we have the capo here. Don't come over here to where the normal D9 is. We're moving everything up a half step. So, when I'm 60, right? So the D7 here, if we bar these top 3 strings with our 3rd finger, first finger is going to be at the fret below this hand, this finger, and then the 2nd finger is coming up on the same finger, the same fret as this 3rd finger right here. That's what it should sound like. And then this is kind of like this is basically like a G6 chord. Okay, so we're just playing these 2 notes. The rest of the notes are open. 64. Then back to our C. Now, friends, that's the hardest part. Don't freak out over that. Look, you know, if you're painting a picture and you have one little area that's a problem, like leave it for a little bit. Have fun with the rest of the painting and then come back to that. You're going to get good at it. It's going to take a little time. Don't fret it, okay? No pun intended there. Now the bridge section, here we go. This includes chords A minor, G, D minor, F, C, okay? All standard chords. So this is the part that I don't know why, if it's not too dear, we shall sing and save. Right? We shall scrimp and save. I said shave, I think. We shall scrimp and save. Or shave. I just freshly shaved myself here. So A minor to E, right? And that's what we call a diamond. We just hold that out. Grandchildren on your knees. So we got A minor, D minor, F, G, and C. Do-do-do-do. And then we're back to the beginning of the verse again, okay? Now, I said that the verses were all the same, right? They are. It's true. And the bridge, we're going to do that again. And then we have yet another verse, which is the same again. And then the outro, which is going to be the same as the intro, right? It's going to be this. And this is one that you might want to take a little bit more time with because, you know, a motif or a musical idea is something, or a hook is something that really grabs the listener. And they know this. Everybody knows this song, even though you don't have the clarinet going. They would know this if you did this. You know, they would know that sound. And so you want to make sure that you get that. It's also the ending of the song. So again, C, F, G, C, and that is it, my friends. If this video helped you, you know what to do. Hit that thumbs up. If you want more like it, hit subscribe. And don't forget to hit the notification bell if you ever want to be notified by YouTube, okay? We do live, we do all sorts of good stuff. Don't forget to take advantage of that first link below that's going to give you access to 2 charts that I've painstakingly created for you. It's going to make this so much easier, okay? They're there for you for free, no sign up or anything like that. I also am providing a course for you that hundreds of thousands of guitar players have absolutely changed their guitar lives with already. Click that link below. We'll take you to the same place, and you can have access to that today. Friends, as always, be kind to all beings. Do the right thing always. Practice your guitar, and I'll see you in the next video. Will you still need me? Will you still feed me when I'm 64?